Howdy friendos, my name is Stuart, and today we're going to continue our superhero trend and focus on Megamind. Even though he's not really a superhero, he's just in a hero movie, but believe me when I say, I think you guys will like the lineup of superheroes coming up. I even have some hot takes on a few of them. Anyway, today we're going to go ahead and focus on what I believe might actually be my most controversial video to date, and that's because this is actually going to be pretty hard to judge. Our focus character is Megamind, who plays the villain protagonist of the DreamWorks movie, Megamind. Our timeline begins at our character's birth, where their home planet was devoured by a black hole. His parents put him in an escape pod, where he was then jettisoned off-world on a direct course for Earth. At the exact same time, another alien baby was doing the exact same thing. This new alien baby, who we will now call Markiplier, accidentally took every advantage Megamind would have been given, but instead accidentally set Megamind to grow up in a prison where he was given an education and upbringing by, let's just say, a less than qualified foster family. Megamind and Markiplier grew up together for a time, going to the same school, except where he was always punished for his perceived shortcomings and intellect, while Markiplier was rewarded for his feats of strength and his human passing appearance. This warped Megamind's attitude to believe that he was destined to play the role of the villain for his entire life. Throughout the years, Megamind then became a menace to Metrocity, while Metro Man, the Markiplier, adopted the role as the goodest good guy and protector of the town. The problem with labeling this alignment is simply, well, this story isn't meant to be taken seriously at all. It's a comedy, and it's very, very clear about that. So I have the choice of either taking Megamind's actions at face value, or should I judge Megamind based off the comedy rules of his universe? I think most of the comment section will be able to guess his before and after alignment with almost no difficulty. In fact, I would be very, very surprised if anyone throws anything exceptionally weird in. This might end up being the case where the average commenter and I will agree on the answer to the question, but have two different solutions on how to get there. For the sake of consistency, though, I think I will judge Megamind more on the rules of his universe. I used this method for my Harley Quinn video, where I sort of based her criminal actions around the rules of the comedy universe versus our real-world sensibilities, but I will call actions out appropriately as I see them. Looking at Megamind at the beginning of the movie, though, Megamind considers himself to be a villain. He fully believes that he is evil and it is his job to stop the good guys, mainly Markiplier. However, we know from his upbringing that this interpretation of how the world views good and evil is very skewed, not only from his foster family, but from the way his classmates and teachers treated him. He was largely ignored and overshadowed by Metro Man because he was much easier to accept for the other students, and Megamind used his acting evil business as a means of garnering attention. His acts of evil were largely attention-seeking behavior, and he saw it as a game. As an adult, most of Megamind's villainy are, while not harmless, are relatively tame. Mostly vandalism, destruction of property, and bank robbery. While these can be evil and disruptive, it doesn't look like Megamind is interested in harming anyone. Except maybe Metro Man, of course, but he can take it, you know? While the argument could be made that he's chaotic or neutral evil, I'm pretty sure most of us can agree that Megamind starts the movie at chaotic neutral. I mean, come on guys, the guy is a goofball, and granted he does kidnap Roxanne Ritchie on the regular, but she seems to be in on the joke just as much as they are. She knows she isn't in any danger, and neither does the rest of the city think he's much of a threat either. Also, for the fun of it, I will be labeling the alignment of Metro Man, Roxanne Ritchie, and Hal Jordan, aka Titan. Hal Jordan? Hal Jordan. I wrote Hal Jordan there. Hal Stewart. Hal Stewart. That's his name. That is his name. Because I do have strong feelings about their characters as well, especially some controversial thoughts on Hal. And with all that out of the way, let's go.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mark. Here I go, off into the wild blue yonder. Hey! The beam of light is not where I was, it's where I'm pooping, and somehow... Did he die? Oh, he broke his long neck. Lady, I got a wah. Can you give me a wah? I've got a whole lot of wah. Got some wah? Anybody want some wah? Wah? Can I get the wah?
Miss Ritchie. We meet again.
At the beginning of the movie, Megamind kidnaps Roxanne, crashes Metro Man's big celebratory ceremony, and then attempts to destroy him using some over-the-top sky laser. And he seemingly does, albeit accidentally, destroy Metro Man. Later in the movie, we learn that he didn't mean to do it, and he absolutely regrets it later. So in this moment, we will consider this action to be chaotic neutral. Once he realizes he won, however, he does commit a hostile takeover of the town, causing an absolute upheaval of law and order, and claims the town as his own. This is actually neutral evil. Megamind then spends some time reveling in the fact that he won with the ongoing war with Metro Man. We're gonna give him one chaotic neutral evil. He does paint the courthouse blue and steals a bunch of paintings, but that is a lovely shade of blue. Screw it, chaotic neutral. This moment, however, is pretty inexcusable. Megamind, in his grief, blows up the Metro Man Museum. This would be chaotic neutral, but as he was setting up the bombs, he did not account for the fact that both Bernard and Roxanne were both in the building. This could have easily killed both of them. Chaotic evil. Also, there's no guarantee that someone else didn't die, you know? Just saying. Also, identity theft is always neutral evil. Also, dehydrating and effectively kidnapping Bernard. You know what? Count that twice. Forget it. Yeah, go for it.
From this, we'll extract the source of Metro Man's awesome power.
Megamind realizes that he feels unfulfilled without the presence of a rival like Metro Man, so he takes Metro Man's DNA and creates a device that would effectively give someone his powers. I also like the implication that Megamind is so skilled at genetic engineering he could effectively cure cancer, but he's all like, I don't want to cure cancer, I want to make more Metromans! It's totally not his voice. Chaotic neutral. Roxanne infiltrates Megamind's lair. He tries his best to remove her without hurting her, so let's just go with neutral. And for now, I'll ignore the implication that the exit sign over there leads to certain death with the crocodiles, so neutral.
So you're like my space dad?
Yeah.
In the scuffle of getting Roxanne out of his lair, Megamind accidentally shot House Stewart with the non-cancer curing DNA gun, causing him to become almost as swole as me. Omni-Man pictures. The Omni-Man cosplay pics are on Twitter now, by the way. He then tricks Hal into believing that he was always an alien for the sole purpose of creating a new rival. This is pretty neutral evil, and let's give him 2 dings for the montage, especially since he is constantly tricking Roxanne into believing he's Bernard. That's pretty messed up, actually. Yeah. I will give him 1 neutral good for returning all the stolen artwork and cleaning up the town. Granted, he was the one to originally mess it up, but he is making an honest effort to make someone else happy. So yes, neutral good.
All you have to do is save her, and she'll be yours.
This is an important moment for Titan later, so please keep this in mind.
Code, I'll just pack my thing and go.
Code, fine.
Obviously goofy in tone, but this blow-up is chaotic neutral. Megamind gets busted on his date, and it's revealed that he's been lying to Roxanne this whole time. He basically confesses to her, saying that his feelings were genuine while they were dating. Keep in mind, he never does actually apologize, so I'm gonna say lawful neutral, but if you wanted to argue true neutral, I wouldn't debate it with you. Megamind completes his new mech, and then goes out to challenge Titan. Nothing comes of this, so chaotic neutral, I guess.
Where did you get all this stuff?
It doesn't belong to me.
After confronting Titan about stealing everything, he tries to convince him to turn good, so I'm just going to say neutral good here. When that obviously doesn't work, he attacks him personally and emotionally in order to pick a fight. That's chaotic evil. After attempting to stop Titan, Megamind escapes and heads to Roxanne's place to figure out a solution. Megamind does this because he sincerely wants to stop Titan from destroying the city. Even though he was the one that created Titan, he definitely wasn't out to cause the type of destruction that he ended up doing.
So, using my super speed, I decided to go clear my head.
Nat 20 scene. I love just how powerful it shows off Metro Man is. Also, this is a good moment to talk about him. Metro Man is a fun and interesting character because this is the first time in the movie we actually see what he wants. Like Megamind, Metro Man is actually kind of trapped into the perceptions of those around him. He was born handsome and with amazing gifts, and thus got caught up in doing what he believed others wanted him to be. He was forced by society, and Megamind a little bit, to be this massive hero. Granted, for years he probably had fun because they both admitted it was pretty much a game to them, but it's not what he wanted for himself. Metro Man's actions for most of his life would label him as lawful good, But this sudden leave of his post would designate a massive character flag and probably an alignment shift. I think now Metro Man, or Music Man as he is probably true neutral. I'd almost argue he was neutral good since he wants what's best for both Megamind and Roxanne, but I think true neutral fits best since he was unwilling to give up his newfound anonymity to save them. Compliments.
You're horrible.
Granted, you have talent, but there's a madman out there just...
Megamind turns himself into prison and refuses to help save the city, even though he's the only one that could really help. Technically neutral. Honestly, there isn't much to Roxanne. She's a pretty standard spunky damsel character. I have nothing really interesting to say about her, except I think her role in the movie is fine. Some people complain that she is the damsel throughout the movie, but it's her actions that turn Megamind from a villain to a hero. So I don't really see a problem, since without her, the other characters would not have their own hero's journey. I'll call this the Bulma effect for now. Just because she isn't a fighter doesn't mean she isn't important. Neutral good. After Titan challenges Megamind with Roxanne as his hostage, Megamind begs the prison warden to let him out. He apologizes for everything he's done and promises to fix his mistakes. Lawful good.
There is no Easter Bunny, there is no Tooth Fairy, and there is no Queen of England.
Okay, I have some controversial opinions about Titan. As he starts the movie as House Steward, I'd argue that he's true neutral or even chaotic neutral at worst. He's definitely the dorky, dweeby, nerdy type that is obsessed with a particular girl. He does take no as a solid answer and solely gets mad at himself for not being good enough for her rather than being mad at Roxanne directly. Later though, he receives his powers and is told by Megamind that god-awful advice that sets up a bunch of unrealistic expectations and messes with him immensely. Remember, it was Megamind who told him that if he saves the girl, he will earn her. He thinks he is owed a relationship solely from that bad advice. People say he's an incel type and that he feels he is owed a relationship, and he does kidnap Roxanne for a hot second, but eventually he does let her go and accept she was with someone else. Granted, Hal is a creep. He has no social calibration, nor does he understand how to handle his emotions with women, but at this point he is still complacent. Again, he does rob banks and make plans to become a villain and did voyeur Roxy earlier, but I felt this could have been easily fixed with more time and more proper social calibration. It isn't until Megamind's goading does he completely go off the deep end. Hal becoming a full-on villain is a combination of Megamind's manipulation and his own creepiness. Yes, Hal did choose to fall, but Megamind was the one that pushed him. I don't like these types of villains. He eventually becomes chaotic evil once he is consumed by revenge, though. Chaotic evil.
Presentation!
Megamind commits himself to being a hero and sets up a gambit to save Roxanne and causes Titan to flee. Lawful good. He even sets it up that Metro Man would have gotten the credit for causing Titan to flee, and it was Roxy that revealed to everyone who he actually was. This is arguably his most selfless heroic act in the film. Neutral good. Granted, Titan eventually figured out the deception and Megamind stops him with a pretty badass moment. Neutral good.
Get back, you savages!
Sorry. He's just not used to positive feedback.
Bro. Same. Megamind helps rebuild the city with his drones. Probably completely revolutionizing construction and putting thousands of workers out of a job, but let's pretend that's a good thing. He then takes on a permanent role as the city's defender. Good for him. Lawful good. So, I don't think anyone is surprised by these results. The story is about a villain's redemption arc into a hero, and he's a comedy villain, no less. Honestly, I'm more interested if you guys disagree with my thoughts on Hal or Metro Man, or if there are any individual actions I missed the mark on. Also, I'm completely open to suggestions for characters coming up. Feel free to drop them in the comments below. I'm currently going through a list for the summer. If you have any ideas, make sure that they aren't terribly long. Unfortunately, research time is taking up most of the production time for these videos, so I'm looking for shorter series that I can work through quickly. I'd say no more than 10 or 20 episodes, and preferably ones that are 20 minutes long, not an hour long. Anyway, next week is another Marvel hero, so I will MC you all next time. Thank you, Demonac, for that joke. Bye-bye.